JS, Angular JS, or Vue JS, Express, anything is available. So JavaScript is a good way to start your programming language in this scenario at this point of time, because if you see uh, 5 years or 10 years back, the way to go language was Java. Whoever doesn't know the programming language to learn it. But now the situation has quite changed, and people demand the latest technologies and all those things. So you're on the right hand. So JavaScript is the right way to go or start your career in your programming language. So that's going to be my simple answer instead of elaborating more. So, yep. So let's get started with our session. So I hope my screen is clear, right? So you can view my screen like I presented the Google Slides. So in case if you are not able to see it, just ping me, no issues, or you can unmute yourself. So once again, so welcome to the session. So we are into the Cypress automation and myself Aravind. So I'll be driving this session going forward. So a short introduction about myself. So my name is Aravind. So I have like 11 plus years of automation experience, and I've played different roles from senior test engineer to automation test engineer, and also like lead test engineer. So I played all these roles, and I've been worked with variety of frameworks, which includes Selenium, Cucumber, TestNG, JUnit, Cypress IO, to name a few. But other tools also I'm much familiar with, like say Jmeter and K6, few performance tools as well, and also C# with Selenium as well. So to name a few. So and I worked with almost a few high-profile clients like Verizon, Standard Chartered, Emirates NBD, and Binance, to name a few. And coming to my corporate training career, so I've been like a part-time trainer for quite some time. Like it's almost like close to 7 years I've been a part-time trainer. So I do train like say corporates, like say uh, Urjanet, and also I do like private trainings, and also like Isha trainings. I've been part of Isha trainings as well, and also much more people's as well, much more trainings academies as well. So this is about short about myself and my career. So now let's get started with your Cypress. So maybe just to start it off or make you comfortable, so how many of you like say are freshers, and how many of you are already going to an office and performing manual testing or automation testing? Maybe you can just blindly comment it out, no issues. Or maybe like just to get an insight like how, what type of audience I'm dealing with. So anything? Okay, fresher, Anjana fresher, Neha fresher, okay. Oh, okay, there is Mushraf, okay. Based on experience, please tell us. I have learned JS in a bit tricky, hard to learn, not easy like other language. Is that true? Yes, Musharraf, like to a certain extent it's true. Like JS is not that quite easy to learn. It's again like Java is an ocean, and this is going to be your one more ocean actually. So and concept wise, like it's like pretty huge concepts are available, and light concepts are available. And I think like it's a good way to start actually. JavaScript is a very good way to start. So I feel like JavaScripts are like the way to go language now. Okay, so because Java, even though like Java 21 version is available and it's similar to that of TypeScript and JavaScript, but the efficiency and the performance of JavaScript never be replaced by Java. So that's the most happening language. Yes. So I see like most of the persons are like manual testers and
Hello.
Hello,
okay.
Siddharth.
Yes, at the side.
This is
Okay, sorry Mohan, I muted you. I'm very sorry. So and yes, Veena has started with WebDriver IO, and Mushraf experience with Selenium and Java. Okay, that's great. So Abhishek has 2 years of manual testing. Okay, so it's the our batch is dominated by manual testers and couple of automation testers as well, and couple of freshers as well. So that's great actually. So it's a wide set of audience. So let's see like what we can do, like how to go about it, because like most probably like our initial sessions in Cypress is going to be like with JavaScript, because the JavaScript, without knowing any programming language, like you cannot learn your automation testing. So whether it's be a Cypress, Playwright, Selenium, whatever it's going to be, like the most important thing is like say programming language. So why I'm telling is like say, when you go to an interview, they don't concentrate much on the automation testing point of view, they concentrate more on the programming skills. So what type of analytical skills you have and how do you do the problem solvings. So you need to put much more effort into picture than how it is looks like. So Cypress is a, so let's get back to Cypress. So let's see, where is it? Yeah, so let's get back to Cypress. Like it's a good thing, like all are manual and there is a mixture of freshers and stuffs, like great to handle your batch, like yeah. So now what is Cypress? Let's come back to Cypress and like what is Cypress. Cypress is a front-end automation tool for web applications. Okay, so that means like say if you have a web application, so you need to do some type of automation testing. So whoever has been in an industry, like you would have experienced, like say there are certain applications available, and you'll be writing your test cases and test scenarios for one particular functionality, and then you require to do the same repetitive testing again and again and again and again. So all these things, like say doing the same process again and again and again, for a manual tester it takes like say a couple of hours, maybe up to like say 8 hours or even 16 hours to complete a regression testing. So to accommodate those things and then make your testing much more faster and efficient way, so that's wherein something called automation comes into picture. So when automation comes into picture, then only the tool segregation comes into your picture. So automation is available. So what type of tool I'm going to choose about, that is also available. So why automation testing comes into picture? So as I iterated before, so a manual testing will consume a lot of time to complete and give a sign off for the production or UAT or your SIT. So in order to fees that process much more easier and faster way, we have the automation testing. So what can be automated? So anything
This
whichever
message
you
is
are
for
going to
Anita
do it in a
actually.
repeated
ఒకవేళ
way,
ప్రేమ్
so
సార్కి
again and
లాస్ట్
again
త్రీ
and
ఫోర్
again
అవర్స్
and
టూ
again,
అవర్స్లో
so
ఏమైనా
those
మెసేజ్
things can be automated or should be automated. So that is what basically we tell it as your automation testing. Now like coming to the part of like say what are the tools I am going to do my automation. So from the tools perspective, so we'll do the comparison at later slides or the next slide actually. So tools that are available in the industry, like say we have like a wide range of tools available. So in an industry, so what tool should I choose about? So now if you take it in our current industry, like we have like say people prefer to use like say uh, uh, people prefer to use something like say which is cost effective, that doesn't cost them more actually, and also it should be easy to learn, easy to adapt and all those things. And if you're using something like a QTP or a something like an old tool and that you need to migrate it, so adaptability you need to check it about how soon you can adapt towards it and how often you need to maintain about it. So taking all these picture into consideration, you need to list out what tools are suitable to you. So now in an industry where it is more dynamic, so you know like IT industry is not as like before, so it's been more dynamic and people are like say more into like say scripting part than the testing part of it. So people are more oriented into the programming language and the tools that we know about. So if you know more and more good tools and more happening tools, then you're going to be like say staying in the company for quite long time. So that's wherein like say our technology plays a major part, and that's wherein the Cypress comes into picture. So Cypress is the most happening tool as of now in an industry. So because like say I can say like you can ask me like why does Selenium doesn't do like that? People use Selenium a lot. So what happened to Selenium? So I agree, like say Selenium is also one of the best tools in an industry, but it was until like say 4 years back or 5 years back, because Selenium is an open source tool, and like say it can automate anything. To be realistic, it can automate anything, but the comfort level and the asynchronous jobs and all these things like can be well handled with the help of a tool called Cypress. Even though Selenium has been integrated with a lot of tools like Jasmine and Protractor and all these things, so there was always a small hiccup available in all these tools. So that particular hiccup or that particular bridge has been broken by Cypress. The first thing, Cypress, it's a front end automation tool. So front end automation tool, when I mention, it is nothing but the web application you are going to automate. So that is happening only with the help of Cypress. And also the second major thing that's happening in our industry right now is like say microservices. So microservices is nothing but like say API available, and that particular API, maybe I can give you an example. Let me open my Postman tool. Just a minute. So when I say API, it's nothing but application programming interface. So if you want to do something, so there should be a backend available. That means API available. Like say for example, this is your API, or like say let's go to much more better API. So that is just a demo API. Let's close it up. So this is an API. So this is a get request. So you don't need to understand any of these things. Anyhow, we are going to see it in our sessions. So this is a get API, and this API is available, and I have no body. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So get API can have a body or don't have a body. So it depends actually on how we are going to do it about. So usually 99 percentage your get API doesn't have a body, and this is an API. So when I do a send request, let's see what happens. Okay, it's bringing some data from somewhere else. So now this is what very much happening in our industry. To validate this API, what are the headers it is accepting, if there is any authorization, if there is any parameters, and how will I check upon all these things. So what happens over here is like say if you are using your Selenium, so you need to integrate one more tool in order to validate this API. Like say we call that particular tool, you can call it by any name. Actually there are a lot of tools in industry. I'll give you some tools like say Karate, Rest Assured. These are the few things that most probably people will be using to automate this particular API, but you need to integrate it with Selenium. Okay, but now what happens to the Cypress has its own native way of adapting towards the API handling. So you don't need to integrate anything. Cypress is one tool that don't need to use any other supporting tools in order to run your API or in order to test your API. And same is for your web application. So the main purpose like Cypress came into picture is like to bridge the gap between your asynchronous and synchronous calls. So that's wherein your front end application was lacking. Like to make you understand what is an asynchronous and synchronous call, like assume there is a web page, and your web page you're filling a form and you're submitting the particular form. And what happens after you submit the form? So it keeps on loading, right? Keeps on loading. To suffice this behavior only, like in Selenium you might give a timer, wait timer. It can be an implicit wait or an explicit wait, but Cypress doesn't have it explicitly. You don't need to write it explicitly in your code. So Cypress, by the tool nativity itself, it can handle all these type of wait times. So the default wait time again for a Cypress is going to be 60 seconds, but it doesn't validate immediately. It waits for 60 seconds, and while it's waiting for 60 seconds, it will move on to the next steps to execute. Okay, it will validate the next steps at the runtime, and then after 60 seconds, if there is any issue on that, then it throws you an error. So it doesn't wait for the 60 seconds for the action or the validation to be confirmed and done, and then it doesn't do like that. So it's like an asynchronous call way it is doing. So I send you the request, but I don't wait immediately for the response. I give you some time, and then I come back with the response, whether it is a pass or fail. So that is how your Cypress will be behaving. So this is what an industry is expecting: a fast paced environment where you can get the results and feedback that easily. And Cypress is the gives us a thumbs up for your front end application and your API application as well. So API, just now I showed you like how does it look like. So this is an API and I need to validate all these things. So how to validate and how to do it, we'll be seeing it in the session. Just to give you an overview, like since it's the first session, I don't want to make you like give you more into the detail. I'll just give you like say, since it's the first session, like say what and all your Cypress can do and what and all we can do with that. Simple as it is. And I'll show you
Arvind,
like yeah, yes please.
yeah, you just mentioned that form submission scenario, right? In case of WebDriver, we add some weights. But
Yeah.
in case of Cypress, you said that it would wait on its own and then continue with some activity. What do
Yes.
you mean by that?
Okay. So,
Um,
okay. So, what did I mean by that? Means like say, okay. So you submit your form, right? So
yeah,
what happens after you submit your form? So basically, it's trying to put that particular details into a database, correct? Right? It
correct.
needs to
Yeah.
store somewhere, so it's trying to put it in a database. So meanwhile, if there is any other action that you need to verify on the web page, it will not wait till that particular action is being performed. If it finds that element on the page, it will validate and it will go about. Got my
Okay,
point?
so
Mm.
well, let's assume that after submitting a form, I'm getting a confirmation ID.
Okay.
So in case of WebDriver, I would just wait until the ID is displayed on the page, correct? So
Okay.
in
So
case of
that
Cypress,
one,
you mean, yeah.
yeah, it will wait for that element. So if there is an element validation, it will wait. But at the code behind,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is like say it will load that particular code and wait. Got it? In Selenium,
No,
what
when you say
happens?
it will load the particular code, what which code is what
The
I wanted
JavaScript
to
code.
know.
The JavaScript code. The JavaScript that the
Okay,
Cypress is going to use, it will load that code. It will not wait till that particular action of loading to complete. It will go to the next step and it will try to do it at the runtime, but it will not validate on the application. Okay, to make you understand more, let me put it in this way.
mm-hmm.
Like if you write a Java Selenium, so what happens, it goes line by line,
Mm-hmm.
right? So first line will be
Correct.
executed.
Yeah.
If first line is success, then it will go to the second line. Then second line is success, then it will go to the third line. If third line fails, it will fail over there itself. Correct, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But JavaScript, what happens is like first line, I sent a request. Okay, maybe that is the script
Okay.
for saving the particular data inside the database. And while that particular process is happening, it will go to the line 2
Mm-hmm.
and make it ready for execution.
Okay, so it will
It
make it
doesn't
ready for
execute.
execution, but it will not execute the command.
Not execute. Exactly. So by this way, what happens? This is what we call it as a asynchronous calls. So asynchronous
Okay.
calls, what happens is like say I send you the request, like say the application sends the request to the server, and it doesn't wait for the response to happen immediately.
Okay.
It will send a code, hash code, like say hash one. I'm sending it to server. So hash one waits for the response from the database, and then it sends the hash one to the browser. Correct, right? So the response time, the Cypress doesn't want to waste it. So it goes to the next line and makes that particular line ready for execution. So that immediately after waiting for 60 seconds, if that code is success, it will execute the second line and go to the third and fourth and fifth. It goes like that. So it is like a staggering approach it follows.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Ah, yeah, no problem. So this is how basically your Cypress works. Like say, if there is official documentation as well. Like Cypress behaves most probably in an asynchronous manner while execution. So that is how the nature of Cypress, which makes it more faster and reliable than Selenium. And okay, so let's answer few questions in our chat. Which is better, JS or TS? So I say both doesn't have much difference actually. Only the syntax are difference. So I would prefer a JavaScript, but Cypress can work in both as well, JavaScript and TypeScript. So if you learn JavaScript, obviously your TypeScript is going to be like very easy. So next one is like, is Cypress a free tool like Selenium? Yes, exactly. Yes, Vishal, your Cypress is a free tool. So okay, so Musharraf raised his hand. Yes, please, Musharraf,
No,
you're first.
you go through first all the questions on the chat window because they come first. I'll
Okay,
ask you.
okay. Yeah, thank you. So yes, Cypress is a free tool, but if you want to opt for a Cypress cloud, I think you need to register and you need to pay. But cloud environment, we don't require it up Cypress cloud as it is, so we can ignore it. But if you want Cypress cloud, you need to opt for it with a pricey amount. And one question is from Hanuman: does Cypress support Salesforce and ERP and SAP? Uh, I believe it should support. So as per my knowledge with Salesforce, like it should support. Yes.
Yes, sir, it's for Salesforce. Actually, I'm working in this Salesforce project. It's for
Mhm.
Cypress.
Sorry, it supports Cypress. You mean, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes, it's for
Yeah.
Cypress. Actually, in my project, some members doing automation testing with the help of Cypress in
Right.
Salesforce.
Yeah. So based on my knowledge as well and my working knowledge, it should support. Yes. And one more from Devabrata. If I'm spelling it wrong, I'm sorry. Arvind, can we do API testing? Yes, obviously. Yes, that's what we have seen now. Like we have this API in the Postman. So this is a sample API. This I got it from one more company actually, which I attended an interview for. So all these things you can do it. Definitely. What and all you are expecting for an API validation, everything you can do it with the help of Cypress without any additional jar files or something, because by nativity it's like Cypress accepts API. So that's
Okay,
all we have. Yeah,
I have a
Muslim,
question.
back to you. Yeah.
The asynchronous point we discussed before, right? Is it
Mhm.
because of we have a good wait time at the back end, the system, like 60 seconds?
Yeah, yeah.
How it works?
Yeah, exactly. The one thing is like not only the application, because usually like nowadays like we are using like microservices, a REST based architecture. So since the REST based architecture has a default wait time of 60 seconds, so we have that problem of like synchronizing activity. So like people, a lot of people will tell like depending like obviously it depends upon the application architecture as well. So when you go to an API testing, there are like two types of testing we'll be doing it. One is like there will be a trigger. Firstly there will be a trigger to switch it in an asynchronous mode or a synchronous mode. So if it is going to be a synchronous mode, we fail it immediately. Like the Cypress fails it immediately if it's going to be API testing. If it's an asynchronous mode, we do give some wait time. Like that means the default wait time of Cypress is 60 seconds. Unfortunately, like for the rest assured as well, it is 60 seconds. So both will have a sync, and then if it doesn't respond within that particular time, so we are going to fail it obviously. Yeah. So that
Okay.
is how it happens actually. Because like
Thanks.
now the way like say I've jumped like say a couple of companies. So from my experience I see like now nobody uses a soap UI or an XML. So a lot of people have started to use the JSON and the latest REST architecture. And the APIs are quite fast. And sometimes they even use a toggle switch to make it an asynchronous mode or a synchronous mode depending upon the underlying systems. So because we cannot predict the underlying systems when they'll be up or down, and it happens like that. So obviously they can switch between a synchronous and asynchronous in a rest assured, and based on that our Cypress we can do our validations. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what it is. Now let's getting back to it. So and again, yeah, here is your answer, like whether it's an open source tool or not. So obviously it's an open source tool. So when I mention open source tool, basically it's free of cost. But again, if you want to go to your Cypress cloud, you need to register on the cloud, and there are a lot of features available as well. But to register on the cloud and give the data to the Cypress cloud, like a lot of companies or organizations don't trust them, because their secrecy and their privacy matters. So I didn't see any of them using the Cypress cloud as it is. Instead, they go for a Microsoft Azure or AWS, or they run their script on that. So that's, they feel more secured actually. So again, it's the organization dependent. So I don't want to give my views, because it again depends. Like some people will go and some people won't go, so it again depends. So, and obviously we are going to use the latest version of Cypress, which is going to be like 12.x.x. And the coding language that is supported is, like, to answer one more person, I don't remember the name, JavaScript and TypeScript both are supported. And I've seen like people use both the things, but majority of the people will go with the JavaScript, because TypeScript mostly they use it for nowadays for the development activities or of Angular and React. But JavaScript has become a more or like a QA language nowadays. How Java was there back in 10 years back, the same thing JavaScript has replaced it. So JavaScript is now the way to go for any programming languages to learn, and Python tops it. But unfortunately JavaScript doesn't Cypress doesn't support Python. Python has its own frameworks. So I hope everything is answered. So now moving back to the next one. Okay, so this is just a comparison, like say what are the latest tools available in an industry, and how do we rate it. Like my personal views are, like say all the tools are equally competitive. So but which one to use depends upon the application. So mostly like people who's handling an Angular or React application will prefer a Cypress, and some organization prefers Selenium or Playwright. But Cypress makes us easy to handle all the React JS components and all those things, because if you have worked in a React JS or Node JS environment, you would have seen like in certain page sources, like when I mentioned page source, for example, maybe let's take it like say browser stack. Okay, not this one. So let me show it you. Okay, so if you take this particular, this is just again a demo website. So if you take this particular website, right, sorry, so if you take this particular website, when you right click and inspect it, so you can see a couple of components available over here. So in these components, if it's going to be a Node.js or something like that, you would get some component like say how a data.skew is available. Similarly, you get like ng hyphen. So whenever you see a component over here which is in like say this particular color, to name it, it's like an orangish color. To name it, if it has an ng hyphen, so that means it's built upon your Angular or your React JS. To handle all these items, your Cypress will be like say much more easier when compared to Selenium. Because Selenium, again, if you want to handle your React or Node.js, it will be using like WebDriver IO integrated with it, and then you can use it up. And Playwright as well, it can handle, so I don't deny it. But again, it depends upon like the organization which one they want to go, because Playwright also sometimes some features are like say it's like cost, because Playwright, I think it's by Microsoft, so they basically do it about. So nothing comes free with Microsoft. So license perspective, like Cypress is open source as it is as a tool, but when you want to go to a cloud, again it's paid. And Playwright, as it is a tool, it's open source, and Selenium, it's a pure open source tool. And again, languages supported is going to be a JavaScript and TypeScript in Cypress. And Playwright, it supports like multiple languages: TypeScript, JavaScript, Java. So I've seen people use JavaScript and Java with Playwright. And Selenium as well, it can use a lot of languages like Java, C Sharp, JavaScript, Python. And the editors that we are going to use it is like say in Cypress we can use VS Code. So that is the most favorable editor now currently available in industry. So anywhere you go, like VS Code is the way to go. Even C Sharp or Java, they use the VS Code. Some organization, not all. And for Playwright, it's again VS Code and IntelliJ, and Selenium, the nativity like Eclipse and IntelliJ. And installation, how do we install the Cypress? We need a node. So node, or we can call it as npm. So npm is nothing but node package manager. Node package manager. And Playwright as well, you need the node, the same thing, node package manager or npm, so we can have it. And Selenium is going to be a standalone server, so that means it's going to be a jar file available which you need to integrate it. So you have a lot of build tools available in an industry when I talk about installation part. So Cypress and Playwright are sticking on to node and npm, node or npm, whereas Selenium is sticking on to something like a standalone jar file, which is available as part of Maven and Gradle actually. So Selenium can use Gradle as well. So you can use both the tools for it. But I feel like NPM has a more upper hand when compared to Maven and Gradle, because you just need to install in your machine and it's a go. But Selenium, you have like a pom.xml or all those things which makes your life much more tougher. So again, it depends which tool to use. So, and the framework, so Cypress has a native runner tool. So I'll show it to you now. And it's like a mocha and chai based framework. So a lot of people would have heard like mocha and chai. So those are like say an assertion and validation frameworks available as part of JavaScript. And you can integrate mocha and chai with Selenium as well, Java as well, so that's also not an issue. And Playwright as well uses a lot of frameworks available: mocha, vi test, Playwright test, Jest or Jasmine, they use it up. And as you know, Selenium, they are the popular one a decade back, and they have the same tool available in an industry which they used it for a decade. So TestNG, JUnit, NUnit, Selenium standalone server, Selenium WebDriver and stuff. And coming to the browser support, your Cypress supports all the browsers. So it doesn't leave any browser at any instance at any point of time. So most probably the most preferred one, Chrome nowadays, and the upcoming one, Edge, also it is supported, and Firefox, Safari. And Cypress has its own native browser, which is nothing but Electron over here. So let me highlight it for you, Electron. So it exhibits the same behavior as that of Chrome. And Playwright as well, it uses everything the same as that of your Cypress. And the Playwright, I mean the Playwright has Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Safari, Firefox, everything it has. So almost like in the browser support, everything is like a tie. But when it comes to the wait time and stuff, your Cypress is like say is the king. Selenium, you need to write some custom commands for your wait time. And Playwright as well, like it has its default wait time, but again you need to write some custom commands. But Cypress as a whole, like there is no custom commands that you can write, or it doesn't allow you, because by default your Cypress waits for some amount of time. So that's what, like say, even it's a small thing, a wait time, the execution speed and the number of test case matters actually. So that's wherein your Cypress stands out a bit, and it is the way to go. Or like say it's a simple, like say when you go to your organization and you tell your manager or your automation lead, or you find a proposal like Cypress, when you tell, like people say it's a way to go, because it makes your life much more easier. And all the assertions, everything are handled very easily on a single line. You don't need to type multiple lines to make it your life hard. So it's all a single script that is available. So let's go to the next one. So okay, so before going to the installation part, like any doubts still here so far till now? So let's check
Arvind,
our
you
chat.
talked only about the advantages of Cypress, right? Are there any use cases where Selenium is preferred more than Cypress? Are there any
uh,
disadvantages or drawbacks?
yeah, there is one drawback actually, but again I wouldn't say like say it's a drawback of Cypress.
Mm-hmm.
I would more tell into like it's the drawback of how the application is being built. Because for example, uh, assume a scenario like there is like Maybe this is the recent one I experienced. Maybe I can tell you, like uh, there is an application. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you log into the application and you click a
Okay.
button, so it opens one more new web page. Okay, one
Okay.
more new web page. So in that web page, like you do some stuffs. You do your actual
Mm-hmm.
testing on the new web page. That means like you have two window, one parent window, you click on a button on the parent window, your child window opens, and on that child window basically you are going to do all your testing.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in that particular case, your Selenium
Mm-hmm.
will handle this very easily, very
Yeah.
easily.
Switch to window.
Yeah, switch to window, you can do it and you can handle it very easily. But Cypress, what happens is, like say, instead of seeing that particular application as a blind window, it checks it as a specific window available to test for it. So your the meaning is, like say, it doesn't shift the focus to the new window
Mm-hmm.
without doing the authentication of it. Okay,
Okay.
so that is one disadvantage of Cypress, where its focus doesn't change immediately. It needs certain amount of coding and some window handling and development skills in order to move the focus to it. But Selenium, it will handle in a fraction of second. Yeah, that's true with Selenium. So in this case alone, like I would say, like Selenium is much more preferable in handling when compared to Cypress. So I will tell you why this happens, because your Selenium doesn't have any native runner. So you can run Selenium with TestNG, you can run Selenium with Java's main method, you can run Selenium with Java's JUnit, and all these things you can do. So due to that particular thing, this handling is much more easily handled. This scenario is much more easily handled when compared to Cypress, because Cypress has its own execution way, native execution.
Okay. Okay.
So what happens is, like say, when you install Cypress, it opens a new window and it runs the script. So that means, like say, Cypress doesn't support JUnit or TestNG or something like that. It has its own runner and it runs it. So due to that particular nativity, this scenario is like a little tricky to handle. I will not say it is easy to handle. It's a little tricky. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
So in this point, like say, your even playwright doesn't do that actually. So even playwright has some difficulty to handle this. So your Selenium stands out on this particular part alone. But apart from that, like to handling all the objects or the elements, everything, your Cypress is the way to go. It's like it's a very easy one. You don't need to you don't need to put much effort into Cypress in order to run your scripts. You can even build, like say, 10-20 automation cases within 1 or 2 hours in Cypress. But whereas in Selenium, it takes some considerable amount of time. Yeah.
Okay. And you were talking about the Cypress Cloud, right? What is it
Yeah,
exactly?
Cypress Cloud is nothing but like certain features are enabled in Cypress only when you enroll on a cloud. Like say a parallel execution is one particular thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you enable a cloud registered cloud, it will run on the cloud actually. So that's one specific thing actually. If not, what happens is, like say, if you want to run it parallelly, so you need to open two Cypress together to run it parallelly. So that is how it works. So parallel execution in Cypress is like a little tricky one again. But again, like say, to even Playwright and Selenium, you have the hub and node concept. The same concept can play in Cypress as well. But to run it in Cypress, these features we need a cloud access actually.
Okay, so on local also we can't achieve parallel execution using Cypress.
Yeah, yeah, we can achieve, but it's a little tricky. We can achieve, it's a little again tricky. Not that much one, it's just a configuration
Okay.
part. No need to write some codes and all, it's just a configuration.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So that is how it is. So coming, so let's see, like if there is any other question. Differences between Selenium. Okay, so differences between what do you mean by completely open source? It depends along with UI. Yeah. You will provide project on API along with UI. Yes. So I have like couple of APIs available over here. So you can make use of these APIs, but I don't have it linked with the particular application, so I'll show you this separately, but I can show you one more thing as well. So whenever you open your application, right, like say for example over here, so there is a network tab available over here. So let me refresh it. Okay, so it doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't show over here. Or like say let's go to like say okay, 1 minute. Let me show you one more application when we talk about this particular thing. Okay, where is it? I forgot the application name. Customer feedback, I think. Just a minute. Let me open it up really quick. Okay. So you have this particular item. So I have this particular application. It's a working application. Okay. Okay. Sorry, not this one. Okay. So here is it. So if you go to this particular application, so let me explain you about this particular application. So this is to answer the question how to handle the APIs with respect to the application. So let me go over here. There is a customer feedback. So I fill in the command like say test. I provide the rating. So you just observe what and all actions I'm doing. Okay, so 3 8s are 24 plus 8. Let's say, let me do it just a moment. 8 plus 3 into 8. So it's going to be like 32. Okay, closely observe over here. So what and all I did. So all these actions I'm going to teach you. So over here you can see like I can do a rating. You can ask me like how you are going to do this rating. So it's again a very easy one. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to teach you. So when I do a submit, you can see there is a thank you available. Okay, but still it's not fetching. Okay. Okay, it's fetches over here. You can see something over here, feedback available, right? So what happens over here? Let me explain you the scenario, how it works. So I've submitted a feedback and this is the feedback API and this is the payload. What and all I passed over here, this is the payload and this is the response I'm getting. So when you go to any organization, uh, they will ask you to validate this as well, because what is the purpose is like say when I'm trying to do something in an application in the backend. So this is nothing but we call it as a backend. So in the backend all these responses are going proper or not, we need to check it up as a QA. Initially some 5-10 years back this was not the role of QA, but now this is a part of QA. So all these validation how to do it about like simple as it is. So this is a blind script. So we have a concept of interception available, so we'll be handling it with that particular item. So I will show you like how to handle it, and these are the validation that I've kept it, and all these things we are going to learn about. So maybe hope this is clear for yeah, it's Anjana. Yes, hope this is clear. So this one we need
Thank
to
you, sir.
do about. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And so, what do you mean by completely or pure open source? So, when I say pure open source, you don't need to have any dependency of your cloud, or you don't need to pay anything for that particular tool. But Cypress offers a little cloud-based things which you need to pay. So that's why it's still an open source. It's an optional one for you to answer Unity. It's an optional one, but it doesn't impact your execution at any point of time. Don't worry about that. So again, Nidhi, like difference between Selenium and Cypress. Selenium and Cypress, like it's a very huge difference is there from the installation part till the coding part and the execution part. Like one example that I was telling you, like handling the windows, two windows. So that is also one thing where Selenium scores, where the Cypress, I won't say it doesn't score. Like it needs to write some coding. That's it, where the Selenium can handle it at a very easy level. So Cypress always goes into the network things, like how I showed you over here. Okay, sorry, not this one. How I showed you over here. It goes to the network things and it validates. So that's wherein your Cypress becomes more reliable tool when compared to your Selenium. Okay, and Devabrata, yes. Yeah, it supports CI/CD. Yes, Jenkins will be walking around the Jenkins as well. So to show you like how does it work, like say maybe let me see whether I started my Jenkins. We do teach you like integration with Jenkins as well. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure whether it opens now or not, but there is a your Jenkins it supports. Okay, sorry, I think I uninstalled it, but I'll show it to you in the session actually. Maybe I have a couple of screenshots, maybe to show you now. So, but in the sessions, like it'll be like a pure one, like we'll be seeing it. So, where is the Jenkins Cypress documentation? Yes, but sorry. Oops, I'm very sorry. Hold on. Yeah, so this is how it works. So this is the installation part, but we'll be doing it in our session as well, because once the session is over I usually delete it so that the next session I will be prepared for that. So that's wherein I didn't find it out. So this you give it up. So to check the running part of it, let me see. Yeah, so this is the ones which are available. Yeah, this is how
So,
we do. We
in this
Node.js.
Cypress training.
Uh-huh.
So, I thinking maybe next week we can start. But is there any questions I should ask in this thing, or just wait until you're free?
You can go ahead, please. Yeah, if you have any
Yeah,
questions, you can go ahead.
India one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I need to be in a class.
Ah, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I'll just tell you.
okay. So this
Yeah.
the question is related to what? Maybe if I could answer it right now, I can
Okay,
do
one
it.
second,
I
one
don't.
second, one second. I'm gonna ask. I know that's why I called you. Can
Yeah.
we automate? Yeah, yeah. Can we do try catch? Is that a Cypress thing or something else? Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Can parallel testing be done in Cypress? Okay. And then tomorrow, are you going to be free then? Because we still need to update that. Okay. Okay then. Okay, bye. No, no, no. What is it? What happens? You're not free? Tell me now. I know, it's okay. It's okay. 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 Yeah. Okay, I'll just give you, that's why I called you, just to see.
Okay, maybe Hari, I muted you. Maybe you can unmute me like anytime, and then we can have a discussion. No problem. Sorry about that. You are hearing for everyone. Yeah. So let's again get back to the installation part. So this is how you an interception concept available, which we can handle it. And for the installation part, like we need the Node.js, so that's going to be a prerequisite. And these are the commands that we are going to use about it: npm init and npm install cypress dev, and also yarn. So yarn command is not a mandatory thing. So just to give you an overview, like say what is npm and yarn, like a lot of people ask this question. So are they one in the same or the different one? So npm, it was developed as a node package manager, so where it's going to be installing uh, the dependencies for Cypress. Cypress is a dependency actually. It has a lot of dependencies within it. So if you want to install it, like you can go with npm. So the difference, or you can go with yarn as well. But what is the difference between a yarn and an npm is, like say yarn was developed by Facebook actually for their React JS development. So what the significant difference is, like say npm will install your dependencies one after the other. That means like a 1 2 3. But yarn will install parallelly, 1 1 1 1 1, like that. So that is the difference actually. So yarn and npm, it doesn't make big difference in the installation, but it makes difference in the performance. So that is one thing actually. So this is about your installation part of it. So again, we'll see about it. Just I'm giving you an heads up, like these are the installation things. So it's very quite easy one. So nothing much you need to do. Just you need to execute these two commands and that's it. Finished. And the architecture part of it, so this is how your Cypress works. So you have your Node.js, you have the Cypress built inside in it, and it has a proxy server inside in it, and the web application interacts with your Cypress, and your operating system again interacts with your Cypress, because as I told you, Cypress has a native runner. So depending upon the operating system, there is no difference, but it obviously depends upon your machine. So if your machine has a very less capacity of your RAM and stuff, obviously it will be little slow. But I don't think so nowadays, like laptops or your PCs doesn't have much uh, slowness, so it should be easy to perform. So, and this is how the interaction happens. So it begins the proxy, it interacts with the Cypress test inside the browser. That means your Cypress test goes inside the browser and it validates it, and it gets back to you. And the http request and response, this is for your api or your application under test, or it's going to be a ui, anything. So it interacts with the server. So mostly when your Cypress runs, right, you can see a lot of logs available, which you may not be able to understand it, because that's how the proxy server interacts with your browser. So what is the host name, what is the port number, and how does it interact, everything will be available for you. So that marks like how fast your Cypress is about. And to move on, like what the Cypress can do, so it can interact with elements. So that's what the basic principle of Cypress. So text box, checkbox, radio button, table validation, drop downs, window handling, alerts, pop-ups, scrolling within a page. So even I would say like this is the biggest advantage of Cypress. Like scrolling within a page and all, like it's like a fraction of second it will do. Like even Selenium struggles a little bit, but Cypress, it's like a easy peasy way. And one more thing that I can tell, like an advantage of Cypress is, like say you might have heard about like shadow DOMs, right? Shadow DOMs, a layer on top of a website, and it doesn't allow you to interact with the website. So these type of things, like Selenium struggles a bit. Either you need to refresh it, or you need to do some type of background work which involves JavaScript to use it, but Cypress handles it in a very easy way. So that's wherein the advantage of Cypress comes into picture, where asynchronous methodology of Cypress, or the approach of Cypress, will have an upper hand. And assertions, I can tell, like say one more assertion it's missed out, like except. So these are the assertions available. So I just given you one assertion. You can see how simple the code is about. So it doesn't make you feel like you're writing a in-depth code of it. It's like a easy peasy way. Okay, so cy is a command, and get is the particular locator wherein you can use, and should is the assertion or validation, and there is a and as well. You can have two validations together. So this is a simple script, how it works actually in Cypress. And the logs, to mention it, like say if you're in a Java, like it's like system.out.println, or you can use a log4j to log it, but Cypress has its native log cy.log. And it can also, you can also use, like say, your JavaScript logs. You can also use JavaScript logs, which is nothing but your console.log. Okay, so it also supports it altogether. So it is not restricting itself, like you can use your JavaScript logs as well. Okay, so your Cypress terminologies. So package.json, so that is one thing that you need to know about it. So I'll show it to you in the next class, like due to time constraint. So these are the terminologies available. Package.json, and package.json compares all the npm package in a file. That means like once your npm starts to download all the dependencies of your Cypress, it will be available as in your package.json. So it is similar to that of your pom.xml. So I could refer it like that, but it's not the same, it's the different one. But I could give you an example, like it's similar to that of pom.xml. And basically your package.json is the heart and soul of your Cypress. And this is it for today. Like if you have any questions, you can throw it on me, like but for the class and schedule, like basically get in touch with Mr. Kumar, like he handles it up. So this is all I had for today, an overview of your Cypress and how does it work and what are the advantages of it. And to start off with that, like tomorrow we'll be moving into, like say, we'll be seeing one sample script in Cypress, like the installation part of it, and then we'll move towards the JavaScript. So that is how we have framed it, like to make yourself more comfortable, like how the installation part, and you can work on it more on it. So that's wherein we use it. First you will be having like how to install it. You can give your hands on it, because to give you an insight like how easy Cypress is about, we give that one first, and then we move towards the complex part, the JavaScript. So first you need to know the programming language in order to handle your Cypress much more better, because JavaScript, as I told you, like when you go to any interviews, JavaScript, definitely there is a questions. Without digging deep into JavaScript, they don't move towards your Cypress. So that's the
So
hard.
when will be regular classes will start?
We'll be starting from tomorrow. Yeah. So officially it's
Okay,
today.
from regular classes.
Yeah,
Okay,
officially it's today. Like this is a demo session. So
okay.
wherein I need to explain you or go through like how your Cypress behaves and all those things. And then slowly tomorrow we'll start off with the installation part of Cypress. And then
Timing
we'll,
will be the same, sir? Uh,
yeah, it will be the same. Yes, it will be the same.
okay,
Yes.
and how many sessions will
It's like a 30 hours duration, so it comes around like 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks.
uh, Monday to Friday, right?
Yes, Monday to Friday. Yes.
Okay.
So this is all about it I had for today. So hope to see you all tomorrow. Like hope you liked it. Okay, last question. JavaScript, how many
Yeah,
classes? Okay,
I
sorry, I
have
saw it.
question as well.
Yeah, so Devabrata, which framework you teach us? So basically, like we teach two frameworks actually. One is like POM model. So with Cypress we teach, and with Cucumber also we teach POM model. So both will be helping it out to you in the industrial point of view. So that's wherein we included Cucumber, like the Cucumber with POM, and general Cypress with POM we have included. So we basically go with the page object model. But again, instead of page object model, we also give you insights into like other design patterns available. So open, closed, and all those things available. So we'll be walking you through that as well. But that is only for the theoretical part, because if we dig deep, dive into it, like it will be like a very complex one. So we give a theoretical part on it, because to help you crack in the interview, those things will be useful. But we focus more into POM with Cucumber and without Cucumber. And does Cypress have parallelization to run test case? Yes, Hari, yeah, we do it. But again, it's a little tricky, so I'll tell you about that when we go in the class. We use it, we do it with the help of command lines actually. Okay, so demo was good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, yes. I mean, all the sessions will be hands-on
Recorded.
only, right? Like,
Yeah, fully hands on.
okay,
Yeah,
not
since
recorded. Yeah.
yeah, fully hands on. Like even if you want to, like actually like sometimes we do give some timers and do exercise on the same session actually. So like, because some people demand it, like to do it on the same session itself. So we do have some timers of like say 2 to 5 minutes. Like we'll be giving you a scenario and you can try to handle it up. If it's not handled by you, like we'll be seeing in the same session itself. So that's
Okay.
how it, since there is a
Sir,
time
sir,
constraint. Yeah, yes,
sir,
please.
is there any assignments we have to submit for the session?
Yeah, it's available, but it's not a mandatory, because a few people find it difficult to submit if it's a mandatory, so we kept it as an optional one. So like you can do it. There's a couple of websites available. Even Isha has its own website available, testing website. So you can submit your POM structure with Cucumber or without Cucumber on it, and we can discuss the pros and concerns and how to improve the frameworks as well. So
Okay.
that part we have it. But API as it is, we don't have it, because that requires some cost. So we don't have
Yes,
it.
yes. Mhm.
So API is, as you know, like there is an authorizations and all those things
Right, right.
available. So that thing is alone pending. Like still we are working on it. Like we'll be getting it soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope you had some good session. Like any more questions, you can WhatsApp as well. So I'll be active on that. And
Sir, if we have questions during our practice or during the day, how can we reach you?
yeah, you can WhatsApp me either in the group or individually also, no issues. Like I'll be able to assist you. Maybe
Okay.
I may not be having my laptops around, but I can give you the code once I reach home or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, okay, right.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe if any more questions we can see. If not, we can close the session. I hope you all had a good overview of what Cypress and what we are going to learn. So hope to see you
Yes,
tomorrow.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Thanks all. Have a great good evening and good night to all. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.